Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, I am here with the incredible Caterina Rando. Mwah, mwah. So Caterina is an incredible businesswoman that I met about, 2 years ago, I think is about how long it's been.
Yeah.
And what I love about her is that she's, first of all, just a master at what she does. It's so easy for her. You know, she just gets up there and starts doing her thing, and we all follow along for the ride. But what I love about her is her heart. She is just the most loving, generous, gifting woman. Like, I went on a cruise with this woman, and every 5 minutes we got some kind of goodie. We got fascinators, we got crowns, we got, all kinds of stuff. And it's so much fun being in her presence. What was that?
Robes,
tote bags, you name it. Good food. We paraded around the ship together. That was awesome.
Promenade.
And then she turns around and says, that was for visibility. Like, that was
practicing our visibility. Exactly.
It was great. She can turn anything into a business lesson.
Exactly, my friend.
So I'm going to quickly read her bio, and then we'll jump in like we usually do. And so let me tell you that Caterina helps women in business who have a problem generating enough clients. And she supports them to build influence, speak, run group programs, and host retreats so they can serve more people and have more impact. And she is all about positivity, integrity, generosity, community, and providing massive value while uplifting others. Her books include Learn to Think Differently from Watkins Publishing, released in over 13 countries in several languages, A Woman's Guide to Starting a Giving Circle, and her latest book, The ABCs of Public Speaking, which quickly hit #1 in 4 Amazon bestseller categories. Caterina is also the founder of the Thriving Women in Business Center in San Francisco, a place that I've done a couple of workshops myself, a place for women to gather and host workshops. And she's also started the Thriving Women in Business Giving Community, which raises money for women and girls education and entrepreneurship training. So that is Caterina's bio, and obviously we could just keep reading and go on forever around all of the different things that she does for her community. Welcome, Caterina.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm so happy to be with you.
Thank you. So I would actually love to start with your giving circle. I know that one of the things that you really focus on is your philanthropy and helping to empower women and girls in other countries. So can you speak a little bit to that and why you started that? Kind of what was your calling to do that?
What happened was, Michelle, I went to a birthday party of a friend of mine who was turning 50. And she's a new age author. She's written like 5 books. And there were all these ladies in the room that I had read their books, or I recognized their names as thought leaders. And we had an afternoon tea, and she had a lovely spread. And then she said, hey, my friends, I just read this newspaper article, and why don't we all chip in a little money, because for $100, we could take a girl out of servitude. And Michelle, the truth is, I didn't even know what it was, but I knew I didn't like it, right?
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, okay, I came and hung out with these amazing ladies. I had an amazing, uplifting afternoon. And if I just opened my wallet a little bit, I could change someone's life forever. I said, bing, bing, I'm in, right? And I drove to Maggie, it was my friend Maggie. I drove to her house with my friend Valerie. And by the time we got in my driveway home, we decided to start the Giving Circle so that we could do the same thing. Get ladies together, have an amazing afternoon, and uplift girls around the world. And that's what we've been doing for many years now. And I will tell you now, what we've done is we've infused it into our regular community, because before it was $1,000 a year. And now we've decided to take that barrier away because, and so everyone gives a little bit, whatever they want to throughout the year. And the idea there, Michelle, is that we don't have to wait until we're wealthy or retired or have white hair to be philanthropists, that women think that they've got to wait until they have a ton of surplus. You don't need a ton of surplus.
I love that. I love that. And I think for many women, that is a desire. We have this natural desire to support the people around us. But I think, sometimes our scarcity mindset can also get in the way where we're so focused on like, yeah, but I'm just barely paying the bills. So, I can't possibly give something away, or I have to, like you said, wait until I'm one of those $1 million women before I can really do something. And I've been a part of your giving circles. And I love the fact that, if this is a lean month, I can drop in 50. If it's a really great month, then I can drop in 500.
Exactly.
There's
and that's the idea. And the idea though is to also, I'm a fan, and I consider her my mentor, although she doesn't know it. Lynn Twist, who wrote the book The Soul of Money.
Yes.
And she talks about taking your money and you're investing. This is an investment. We're investing in women around the world because you know what? We know that when we invest in a woman or a girl, that uplifts that whole community, her family, her community. I mean, all the statistics, the infant mortality rate is improved, the domestic violence goes down. These are significant benefits that $25, $50 helps create. And that's amazing and incredible.
And by the way, if you have not read the book, The Soul of Money, please do.
Yes.
It's incredible. Her story, her journey, going and speaking with Mother Teresa, there's just so many really rich points in that story, in that book. And it's not what you would expect. So definitely pick it up and read that one.
She's an amazing woman.
Yeah. So Caterina, tell me a little bit about your journey in becoming an entrepreneur. So were you like one of those little girls who sold lemonade on the on the street? Like, what is it that drove you to make the decision to step into the reality of being a businesswoman?
Well, it's interesting you asked me that because I can't really, and I've done no shortage of interviews, and it wasn't that I was choosing entrepreneurialism. My sister owned a cafe, and I worked at my sister's cafe, and then my sister decided to leave, and so I took over her cafe. So that we would call that the accidental entrepreneur, right?
Right. What
I loved though was I loved having a business. I loved being with people all day. I loved the freedom, even though, you're still stuck to it, especially when it's retail, but the freedom that entrepreneurialism gives you in some ways. But then one day this lady walked in my cafe and she thanked me for some business advice that I had given her. And her gratitude literally touched my heart. I felt a pang of bliss right there and my chest. And that was the moment. I was like, wow, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to help women thrive in business. And so that's when I moved towards selling my cafe and opening my coaching business and doing what I'm doing. And that really is my greatest gift of life. Michelle, unlike you and many women, I don't have any children. I don't even have any pets. And so my ladies are my joy, watching them thrive. Yesterday, a young woman, she's about in her early 30s, she just posted about how she had somebody she'd been talking to for years, and they finally became a client, after she'd been learning all these different things and applying them. Wow, that's what it's all about,
Yes, I love it. I love it. So one of the things I know about powerful women is that they often have many stories of the moments in their lives where they did not feel powerful, where they gave their power away, where they struggled to step into their power in some way, or hit a new edge of having to learn how to speak their boundaries or their truth or whatever that might be. So I would love for you to just kind of, take that moment and check in and like, what is the story that is bubbling up and needs to be spoken today around you and your own sense of power?
Well, for those of you that cannot see me, if you're listening to this just audio, I'm a plus size woman. I've always been a plus size woman or girl. And even though when you're plus size, you're bigger, you kind of still feel super invisible.
Yeah.
And I felt very invisible, very self-conscious. It's funny. I have on my dining room table a picture my mom gave me, my first black and white ball. The black and white ball used to be a big fundraiser for the opera. I think it was the opera here in San Francisco. And I went to my first black and white ball, and I have this gorgeous dress on. But and I look phenomenal. But I remember that night feeling so self-conscious and feeling like I was the ugliest and the biggest person in the place. And it's so amazing how our perception impacts our feeling about ourselves and our life. And so when being plus size and often feeling like I didn't get the dates, didn't get the male attention, I started to speak, because when you speak, you have permission to speak. And when I mean speak, I mean public speaking.
Right.
You get some attention, but also you get to share your message. And that was and is still my biggest joy, is getting to be my authentic self and share my message. Now, at some point along the way, and I would say that self-employment taught me this, that I am lovable, that I do have massive value to bring, that I am beautiful. And I've found that because, Michelle, when you have your own business, you get to live an authentic life. And, we talk about all the other stuff, but I don't think we talk about that enough. You get to be yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes. And I think it's funny, because that's what my brand is all about, is that, you're getting in your own way. You can't possibly attract the people you're meant to attract if you can't just allow yourself to be who you are.
Right.
And part of that process is recognizing that you're going to turn certain people off. They're not gonna connect with you, and that's great. It's kind of like putting up a dating profile and like, these are the things I want, weeding out the jerks right from the beginning, because you're really clear about what you want.
Exactly. It's interesting, because a couple days ago I wrote a more heartfelt personal email to my list, and a couple people chose to delete it. And unfortunately, I get the notifications when people choose to do that. And I remember, and it had me reminisce back to in my late 20s, when I started doing my thing. And if somebody would unsubscribe, how depresso I would get and everything, and like I would engage with them. And if they wanted to, give me grief, I would take it, And now it's like, okay, well, I'm not her cup of tea, bing, bing, all the better for both of us, right? It's that evolution to the place of who I am is awesome.
Yes. So something that you speak about a lot, Caterina, and I love the first time I heard you talk about it, is that a key component of being a business owner is having to learn how to manage disappointment. And you kind of, touched on that with what you were sharing, but can you go a little bit deeper with that and just talk a little bit more about why that is such an important skill?
Yes, because the truth is, Michelle, there's going to be disappointment du jour, right? You're excited to talk to someone and they don't show up for the appointment or the call. You work on a project and you're so excited for to get started, and then they say, "Oh, sorry, we don't have the budget anymore." There's disappointment du jour every day, and if you're not having any disappointment, then you're probably not taking any risks either.
Exactly.
You know, and that's important to pay attention to. You know, I like to say take a risk a day. You know, it doesn't have to be jumping something physical, you know, bungee jumping, but calling someone or asking for what you want. You know, making powerful requests is a big important place to make requests. But then if you're going to do that, if you're going to go for it, if you're going to be bold, you're not always going to get what you want.
Right.
But then don't let it take you out.
Yeah.
Don't let it put you on the sidelines. Don't let it have you not pick up the phone again or not ask again, particularly in sales. You know me, I love to talk about the super slow cookers, the people that take, 2 years, 10 years to become your client. Well, you're never going to get any slow cookers or super slow cookers if you don't be willing to continue to engage with people that was turned you down many times in the past. So we have to be willing to keep our eye on what is the compelling vision that we want for ourselves and for our clients, and that is what has us move forward with momentum and focus and drive, and not worry about the disappointments du jour, because tomorrow there will be more amazing things going on.
So do you have any stories around that, like personal stories? I know that you are a powerful businesswoman, but I also know that, we have our edges. We have the things that we run up against that disappoint us, that scare us, that really...
I have a lifetime supply. But, here's the thing, Michelle, and of course, I'll share one with you. The thing is that I'm very future focused, and I choose to focus on where I'm going, not where I've been. Like sometimes somebody will say to me, you remember so-and-so and what happened with so-and-so? And it's like, no, I don't remember, because I don't focus on those kinds of disappointments. I keep my party moving. And one of the things, that I've shared is that when I go give a speech, at the end of that speech, when I get back in my car, that speech is over. So that means if it didn't go well, or if it wasn't well received, or nobody signed up for anything, I don't get to be depresso on the way home. I already gave that group hours of my time. Yeah. They don't get more of my emotional time. And one group that I know that you and I have both been frequenting, I won't say the name here, but we've both been frequenting. I gave a talk there the first time I gave a talk there. Maybe it was the second time, I don't remember. But I gave a talk there. All my ideal clients in the room, almost 100 business women, they give you so much time to talk, like 75 minutes, which nobody gives you 75 minutes. Right. And I made my, easy yes offer to come to my workshop. I think it was $47. And what you want is 30% pickup when you do that. So, I'm thinking 25, maybe 30, maybe 45 ladies signing up for my workshop. It's only $47, the VIP. After, nobody signed up. Nobody came to talk to me, nothing. And this is my ideal clients. I think I even got a standing ovation, and nothing. And I forgot about my rule, right? My don't be depresso on the drive home rule, But then within a few days, 7 ladies had signed up. Some of them became VIP big clients. I share that with you because the disappointment du jour doesn't mean that it's not going to all work out. It just means it hasn't happened yet. And that's the other thing. And by the way, I think you'll appreciate this, Michelle. I do not value patience. Okay, I think that patience is something that the patriarchy tried to sell to women to keep them from being loud and proud.
Damn! You're right. I loved it.
All right. Okay, good. So here's my point. So I don't value patience. I'm not going to tell anybody to be patient. No, that's ridiculous. I'm going to tell them, get in action. Go get what you want. Right. The truth is, many times in business, if you just keep doing your thing, you're going to get exactly what you want, or even more, because you're focused and you're in action and you're not letting the disappointment du jour get in your way.
Have you seen clients really mess that up by either scrapping something that they just started because they got no real energy, or
Yes.
becoming reactive, or, you know, because
Yes.
I can imagine that people would kind of sabotage their own energy around it, like because they're not just continuing to do it, or they're not reaching out to those people or whatever, that they could actually do the reverse, which is damage their own reputation by how they react or respond.
Well, I can't think of anybody particularly damaging their reputation that's been associated with me. Other people not associated with me, yes, of course. But what I do talk to a lot of women about, Michelle, is, you know, you can't expect it to be this awesome and amazing thing the first time you do it.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's not going to bring value, right? But you know, you might want to do a workshop and you might envision 30 ladies in the room, and instead you have 6. And don't be depressed about 6. 6 is a great start, right?
Yeah.
On your way to 30 or more. And the other thing is that, you know, you can't compare you're just getting started to somebody that's been doing their thing for a long time.
Right.
You know, sometimes when I have a speaker class, which I just did recently, advanced speaker class, the ladies are saying, well, Caterina, you know, I can't do it like you. Of course you can't do it like me. I've been doing it for 30 years.
Right.
Right? But don't think that you cannot get started to be better and better every time.
It's so funny because I think that is, that's a really important piece, is the idea of mastery, that many of us give up before we've given mastery a chance
Yes.
to really happen, because we haven't done it enough. Like I think about when I was training to be a therapist, one of the first things they told us is like, you're going to feel like you suck at this for the first 10 years. Like around 10 years is when you'll hit mastery, and then you'll be at the point where you're like, yeah, okay, bring them on in. Like I'll be able to deal with it. And it was so funny because, and I don't know how much of this was subliminal, subconscious, like training, and how much of this is the fact that that's actually just something that happens that way for therapists in particular. But I remember about the, 8, 9, 10-year mark, just getting, like, having this deeper level of comfort. Right. And just literally, like, even if someone were to walk in the door and it's clearly not a fit, that I would feel very comfortable saying, it's clearly not a fit, let me refer you to somebody, that there, nothing terrible had ever happened, even suicidal clients, like I had learned how to manage that and be supportive and all of that stuff. And I think that we live in an instant gratification society that makes us believe, and especially on the internet, guru, homeless to millionaire in 3 months, you can do it too. And it's like, so we don't necessarily build the muscle and the capacity, like you said, of managing disappointment, but also in recognizing that, as Marisa Murgatroyd likes to say, iterating our way to awesome, that we have to keep iterating our way there. We have to keep playing with it until it's like, yeah, this is super comfortable. I could do this all day long,
And when you get to that place where you could do it all day long, I like to say, Michelle, with one eye closed and one hand tied behind your back, then you're there. But the challenge, though, is my experience was year 15 to about year 25, the mastery kept moving, I had a glimpse of it for about 5 minutes, and then it went down the road. So there is always another
layer
of mastery for us to work on, and that there's so many other things to master. I talk about, you got to master your speaking, but you got to master your offers, and you got to master your connection to the audience, and then you have to master your prospecting and your follow-up. There's tons of stuff to master when you have your own business.
Yes, absolutely. So, Caterina, what are some of the things that you do to stay your beautiful, powerful self? What are the practices, the people, like what are the things that keep you remembering the power that you do have as a woman and as a business owner?
Well, that I surround myself with positive people. If you are too depresso, it's not that we can't get depressed. I mean, of course, we all get depressed.
Right.
But I mean, as a disposition, if somebody is constantly complaining or uh, always super downer. That's like the state that they're choosing for their life.
Right.
And they're not a good match for me or my community. I surround myself with people I trust, of course. And when I say surround myself, I mean my clients, not just my that integrity is a necessity for anyone I'm doing business with or working with or traveling with or whatever. So when you have great people around you, I like to say, Michelle, that my intention is to uplift everyone I come in contact with.
Mm.
I went to the dentist this morning, uplifted the whole place. I mean,
I can see you doing that.
that's how I roll, right? So my point is that I that's how I choose to be, because it's not just about what we do, it's about how we choose to be. And then the other thing is that I do my best to not put too much negativity in my brain. I don't watch the news too much, just enough to keep informed. And I'm in Carla's walking group, one of the ladies in our community. I surround myself, I put myself in positive situations, and that really helps a lot. That I like to consciously cultivate community.
Yeah.
And so having a community of amazing women like yourself that have their own thing going that I get to tap into, where I don't have to be the leader, I get to be the participant.
Right.
Bing, bing. That's awesome. It makes me so happy. And then, that we do our retreat cruises, like you came on with us.
Yes.
And my plan is to, this year we'll only do 2, but next year my plan is to do another 2 and maybe 3, because it is a nice way to get away with the ladies and get connected.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that is so important. And even right now, like, how are you doing it right now with all the COVID stuff? What
Zoom
is your
all over the place? I'm taking my yoga class at 7:00 tonight. I slept in, but the walking group is in the morning. We got meditation, we got coffee connect, we got laughter yoga at noon. My friend, I could spend all day in Zoom, not get anything done. Having a good time with the ladies. But that's great, because what that says is that these ladies are all stepping up into using their own voices, bringing their own gifts.
Right.
And that's really what we've seen. And that's what I want, every woman to know that she has massive value to bring.
Yeah.
And that she's supported to bring it.
I love it. Who is someone that you admire?
Well, I mentioned Lynn Twist, who I have trained with, who I've spoken with, who I've been privileged enough to share the platform with. And she's heard me speak, which was like a big day of my life. And the reason why she inspires me so much is because she embodies not only what she talks about in The Soul of Money, but she embodies graciousness and kindness. And she's one of those people that they talk about that, when you're with her, you feel like there's nobody else in the room.
Yeah.
She gives you her full attention and with love and a big heart. And that's how I choose to be. I'm all about love and kindness and loving my clients, that just because it's business. This is another BS thing that somebody tried to shove down our throats was, that it's not personal, it's business. It's super personal. It's super personal. And I, like you, we bring our whole self to it.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna be a love bug in my business just as much as I am in my personal life.
I love that you said that, because I do believe that is kind of a difference between the masculine and the feminine. Like, the masculine is able to really compartmentalize. Like, I finished work. I am now focused on this over here. And because our awareness is so diffuse and kind of all over the place, and because we're about being. Like, men are about doing, and while as businesswomen, obviously we have to do plenty of doing, we have to tap into that masculine quite often to get things done. There's also who we be. And because that is so core, to our business is who we are and how
Yeah.
we're showing up. It's, yeah, exactly. It's like business is personal because we are bringing everything that we have, our whole selves, into everything that we do.
Right, which is why I don't do business with people it doesn't feel good to do business with.
Yeah.
I don't care how big their wallet is. If it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel good. And I didn't start my business to not feel good, right?
Yeah.
And this is very important that we consciously pick who we want to give our time to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other thing that everybody has to learn for themselves, but you know, early in business, people tend to be pursuing the dollars. And then you quickly learn that if you're trying to fit a round peg into a square hole, you know, meaning a client that's not the right match for you, you're going to, whatever fee they paid you, you're going to earn it 10 times over. Exactly. With the frustration and the grief factor.
Yes.
You know, so the sooner everybody learns that you only work with people that you know you can bring massive value to, who you feel uplifted to work with, the richer we're all going to be.
So do you have any advice on that? Like what kind of questions to ask or how you kind of suss out whether somebody is actually coachable or not?
Well, you know me, Michelle, I like to invite people to hang out with me in a one-to-many format first. So these days I'm doing virtual teas. We're even wearing our fascinators, where I invite ladies to come and have afternoon tea with me. That's super fun. Or I invite them to a workshop. And that way I get to see who they are. Right. And even or live and in person, same thing. That's like our first date. You know, that's like our coffee date. Yeah. And believe me, I've invited ladies to my workshops who I've met, and they came and I was like, no, I'm not working with that mama. You know, and part of it is the drama factor or the high maintenance factor or the, you know, I'm Italian. I said the faccia lunga factor, which means, you know, the long face, the negativo. Yeah. And that's why I don't like to have a sales conversation with anybody until it's clear to me that I'm a good match for them and they're a good match for myself and my community, because I don't want any, I'll use the term bad apples. You know, I don't want any, because I don't want anybody to come and I'm speaking from experience over the years. I've had, you know, I had a situation where someone was great with me, but they were hiring all my clients and not paying them. Okay, well, hello, they can't be in my community, right? Or, you know, someone's treating me well, but they're super mean to other ladies in our community. Forget it. They don't get to hang out. They're gone.
So how do you have those conversations? Like, what does that conversation look like?
I have those conversations, you know, and it's all different, but the bottom line is, you know, nice to have met you, time for you to go. And if there's money involved, I give them a refund. Because again, like I said, with that new client, that's the, you know, the not the right match. If I say, oh, you know, you can go, but I'm keeping your money, that's ridiculous, because then they're going to be talking all bad about me, whatever. And really it is true, Michelle, that all we have in business is our reputation. The thing is that we can't control what other people think or say, you know, and so I just have to operate with my highest integrity, at the same time knowing those ladies are going to say whatever they're going to say. Yeah. But again, I can't worry about that. I can only control what I can control. Yeah. And so the other thing is that when someone sometimes has said to me, Caterina, do you want to know what so-and-so said? No, my friend, I don't want to know what so-and-so said. Yeah. Okay. Because I'm sure it's colored by a few different things. And I want to keep my energy on running my business based on my values and not what Sheila, Jane, or Mary think.
So how do you think you built this resilience that you have?
Oh God, I'm sorry. So I think, I mean, you know that I'm about 3 years post-divorce, and that was, you know, the first part of my marriage was great. The last few, I'm not sure if I should say few or several, I'm not quite sure, were very tough, and that definitely built up some resilience. And because, you know, what's the choice? I mean, you know, sit at home and watch General Hospital and eat Ben and Jerry's, you know? I mean, I haven't done that. I don't, I still watch General Hospital once in a while, but not with Ben and Jerry's, because I want to keep my party moving.
Yeah.
I got a lifetime supply of women to serve and people to uplift, and any disappointment du jour or big setback. And Michelle, I've had big setbacks.
Yeah.
You just keep going.
Can you speak to one of them? Because I know part of the reason I'm doing this whole series is really to give people a real clear view that, number one, the road to success is not linear.
No.
We are all going to experience not just setbacks, but sometimes devastating setbacks. And that our power comes from our ability to come back to ourselves, to really know what it is that we want, what our value is. And like you said, to just keep kind of moving forward, right? Like, how can I just accept what is right now, accept the reality of the situation, and then find a way to manage it, find a way to deal with it.
Well, I think, and this is where there's a difference between, everybody has you can find a reason, and some people have great reasons
Right.
for why they walk away from their business.
Yeah.
Somebody has cancer. Hey, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
Somebody gets a divorce. Hey, that's a good reason. Somebody's child is sick. Of course you have every right to walk away, right?
Yeah.
The thing is that I believe that if you want to keep it, if you want to continue to be of service through your business, then you figure out how you can make it work through the big challenges of life.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, my biggest challenge was a financial betrayal from my spouse that created a mountain of debt that I wasn't aware of until I was. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, I'm out from under it now. It took me way too many years. But you know what? You know what that proves to me? Bing, bing. I have the capacity to overcome any challenge that gets in my way. And Michelle, here's the truth. Whether or not it's true, it's a belief by which I run my life, and that empowers me.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Right.
What we teach our subconscious is what it decides to do, right? And if I teach my subconscious that, like, hey, if I can get through this, I can get through anything, then my subconscious looks for opportunities to continue to move forward, right?
Exactly.
And I'm a firm believer in, like, make it up if you've got to, because as long as a part of you can believe it and hold on to it, that's all that really matters, because then you start searching for those opportunities to make that a reality, to make that come true. For sure. I love that. So any other nuggets, stories?
I got to do
I know you got a lifetime supply.
Here's what I would say. One of the things that happens in working with lots of different women, lots of different kinds of women, lots of different ages of women, different stages of their business, is certain things start to emerge that it becomes clear who are going to be the super successful and who are going to be the ladies that never quite get it off the ground. I would say that the difference is it's really action. You know me, I've done maybe almost 20 retreats now, if I include my 10 luxury retreats and our speaker mastermind and our events and retreats cruises. And what happened was I just got the idea that, hey, let's do a retreat. Okay. It wasn't like I took a class. It wasn't like and even though I teach the class, I didn't take the class. But my point is that you just do it.
Yeah.
And that's where you learn. That's where we get the experience. That the idea that I'm going to sit here in my office and plan it and figure it out, and when I have it totally figured out, then I'm going to go do it. Well, that's the lie a lot of women tell themselves, because they never quite figure it out. But if they would just do it, they would learn a super ton, and then they would be better equipped for the next time. And that is really, and also, Michelle, related to our earlier conversation, that's how you get to mastery, okay?
Yeah.
All those months or years where you're trying to figure it out, you're not mastering anything.
Right.
But if you do the first one, it will still be massive value. It won't be the best, but it will be massive value.
Yeah.
And then you will just continue to upgrade.
Yeah.
That's what I want the ladies to know. Get busy.
So what is it that you see getting in people's way of doing that?
Lots of things. Perfection, for one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this desire to look good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now, you know me, my friend, I mean, I like to look nice, but it's not about, you know, it's not about, but the other thing is, it's not about me. Okay. I'm the facilitator. I hold the container. And I have had incredible challenges on retreats. Some, of course, many that the clients never knew, but
Right.
there was a couple that it was blatantly obvious. But guess what? When they know that you care about them, they will forgive you.
Yeah.
You know, they don't get upset.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, hey, no problem. We can work with this, you know? And so when people know that you genuinely care, that gives you a lot of influence with your clients. And
Yep. Wasn't it Maya Angelou? Nobody cares what you know until they know how much you care.
I thought that was Zig Ziglar.
Was it Zig Ziglar?
Well, maybe they both said it, but I don't think it's.
I have to go look it up.
Zig Ziglar definitely said it, but it's been quoted many, many times because it's very true, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That it's all about genuinely caring and women's ability to communicate that they genuinely care. Yeah. And this is, again, where we don't have to do it like the boys. We do it the way that is authentic to us, which is hugging and kissing and saying that we care and blowing kisses and saying, I love you. You know, I got off the phone the other day with a lady. I was being her client. First time I ever did a session with her, she said, I love you. And guess what? She said it with love.
Yeah.
And I believed her, and it felt good.
Yeah.
And we can all use more love in our life. Let's bring it in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I totally agree. I agree. And I love that you said that, you know, business as usual does not have to be our way of doing business. Right. If it's working, great, you know, and what you're doing is obviously working, Caterina, because you have such a great big community and you're constantly growing. Like what is your growth edge right now?
What's my growth edge? Well, we've added some pop-up programs for the pandemic lifestyle, pop-up sales programs. Mm-hmm. Everything's gone online. We're launching our podcast very soon.
Yay.
I will put you on the VIP list. We've already recorded some episodes. We're getting it all ready to go. So that's going out very soon. And then we're launching an app. Supposed to be 2 months after that. We'll see if it happens. And they're both called Expand Your Fempire with Caterina Rando.
I love it. Expand Your Fempire.
Yeah.
Yes, I have my cape hanging.
Yes. That's from the Shiro Summit, my friend.
Yes.
The capes are from the Shiro Summit. At the Fempire event, you get your crown.
You get the crown, yes.
Right.
I love it. Yay. All right. Any last words about power?
Okay, power.
Power and women.
You know, we talked earlier, and I mentioned speaking is a skill.
Yes.
Of course, writing is a skill. There's all these skills, right? The more we use our power, the more power we have. It is a muscle. It is something we develop. You know, when this whole COVID thing happened, I immediately stepped up. I said, okay, I'm going to have all community meetings for my ladies. We're going to help anybody who has any financial challenges. We're going to give them hiatus, like all these leadership things that just were automatic. Yeah. Well, they were automatic because it's not my first rodeo, right? They were automatic because I've been stepping up or accepting roles of leadership or taking roles of leadership for many years. Yeah. I want everybody to recognize if they don't feel like a leader today, or their life doesn't look like a leader today, that doesn't mean that they're not a strong and powerful woman with massive value to bring.
Right.
The thing is to start to bring it in any way you can.
Yeah.
And then more and more opportunities not only will present themselves, but you will feel competent to create.
Right.
And that is very important. That you don't wake up today and say, okay, I'm gonna run for public office if you've never held any leadership position, at all, right? You start where you are, you do what you can, and you keep the party moving, and that will make you a stronger and more powerful woman. And the more you acknowledge people and use other people's, meaning bring them in, the more you can be of service and the more allies you're going to have when you need support.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's huge. And one of the messages that I try to bring to women, I know we both work with speaking, is that, speaking it's just such a beautiful way to create immediate influence and immediate impact. When someone really feels you and feels your story, or feels the richness of the information that you're sharing, or it hits all these points for them, and they're like, oh crap, yes, it's just so incredible. So I wish every businesswoman on the planet the skills and mastery around speaking, because I do believe that it is my first experience, because I've been on stage since I was 7, but I'd never been a quote unquote speaker. I'd never sat down and actually written a speech other than in my speech classes in college, And when I did that for the first time, I had women run to the back of the room, and it just blew my mind. It blew my mind how much that fueled my business.
Right. Exactly. And let's tell all women, whether they're in business or not, use your voice.
Use your voice.
Grab every opportunity. And Michelle, you may know that I've been telling all my clients lately, because we're Zooming, every week have a thing. Every week. Why are you not doing it? It's been a week. Why? Because you can host your own workshop right now from your living room, or your office, and always want a thing to invite people to. So everybody host every week, every 2 weeks, have a thing. Could just be a conversation or a Q&A, something where you get to showcase your massive value.
Yeah.
Bring your voice, and as you're saying, have Insta influence and gain some Insta clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we need it. And the world needs us. The world needs our voice. Period. End of story. And about everything, about policy, about politics, about business, about relationships and child rearing. Like, they need our voice. End of story. That is where we can show up powerfully, is learning how to break through whatever it is that's getting in the way of us really using our voice and speaking our truth. I love it.
Bing, bing.
Yay. Bing, bing. Thank you so much, Caterina, for taking the time to be here today. I really
love being with you.
And
I love being of service to the ladies. I can't wait to share this with everybody. Thank you for bringing your voice. Thank you for being a leader, supporting other women to bring their voice. Because as you said, the more women that get their voice out there, the better. I like to say a rising woman lifts all the women around her. Yes. And thank you for being a rising woman.
Right back at you. All right. Have a beautiful day.
You too, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.